Right, now be honest. It's the 28th, it's 20 past 11 on the 28th of September 2017. Thank you, Peter, for watching. Thank you very much. By the way, do you still think that all of this is just a trick about Doctor Who? Do you still think that all of this is just a trick? An illusion? I mean, you tell me, right? I'm 51 now. I was born in 66, actually, after Doctor Who. Doctor Who started about 63, but you know, who's counting? But do you still think that all of this is just a trick? An illusion? Now, will you put the camera in the middle of the bloody screen? The camera's over here, right? The camera's over here. There it is, about there, in the corner of the phone. Why do you put a camera in the corner of a bloody telephone? Because you've got to keep looking in that direction. You've got to keep looking in that direction to see the camera. Put the camera in the bloody middle of the screen. If you put the camera in the middle of the bloody screen, then I can look at myself properly and now this is me looking right at the camera, right? This is me looking right at the this is a Samsung S7. Shit. The camera's no, the camera would be alright if it was in the right fucking place. Why the fuck are you putting a camera in a corner of a fucking screen of a telephone if what I'm trying to look at is my own face? So I'm trying to look at me, but I can't look at me if the camera is in the corner of the bloody telephone. Alright? If you have the camera in the middle of, which is about there, in the middle of the telephone, you get more realistic proportions. You want the camera to go into the middle of the telephone so that I can actually look at myself, because I can't really fucking look at myself in the fucking camera if you've got the camera pointed at a stupid angle in the corner of the bloody screen. You want to put the camera in the middle of the screen. If you put the camera in the middle of the screen, at the top, whatever, like a webcam, but they got rid of the webcam, didn't they? But yeah, so, and then I could look at myself face to face. I can't see my fucking face, man. When I'm looking at the camera, if you've got it pointed in that direction, I can't really look at my face because of the fact that you've got the camera in the corner of a bloody camera of the telephone when you should put it in the middle of the telephone. If you put it in the middle of the fucking computer telephone thingy, then I can actually look at my face when I'm talking, but I can't really look at my face when I'm talking if I've got to keep looking to the side to find out what I'm fucking watching, you know? You still think this is an illusion? Cool. Fair enough. Oops. To be or not to be? That is the question. Do you want to live or do you want to fucking die? But that's the question. I said to be or not to be. To be or not to be, that is the bloody question. Do you want to live or do you want to fucking die? Okay? That's the question, isn't it? To be or not to be. Do you want to live or do you want to die? That is the question. To be or not to be, that's the question. Now, I can't remember the rest of the bloody words now. To be or not to be, that's the question. Oh, I'll go read a bit of Blue Heaven for you then. I've lost my lyrics. Alright. Unexpectedly, I had a free day and I decided to take a journey in time as well as in space. So I bought a ticket to Whitechapel and for a while wandered among the stalls, fortified by some tea and a bagel of boiled dough. I even began to backchat in the Yiddish, Cockney sing-song I had spoken as a child. I marvelled it still remained, buried under the layers of the suburban yuppie Oxford, BBC and pulpit dialects I had spoken since. I did write a poem about children once. Would you like to hear my poem about children? I want to eat them up and eat their bones and grind their flesh in my mouth. I want to swallow your fucking brain. I want to eat children's brains. And then once I've eaten your children's brains, what I'm going to do is chew on the arm. I'm going to put it in the oven for a bit. I'll cut up your children in little pieces, and then what I'm going to do is cut up your children into little pieces. I'm going to stick them in the oven, like cook them for a couple of hours, and then it'll be lovely and tasty. Yum yum. Hello. There's a child in each one of us, trying hard to break free. A nervous, frightened child, a long-forgotten memory. A child, he sleeps soundly, somewhere inside my brain. But the child is awoken when he knows I am in pain. And when I feel like crying, the child cries for me, as I remember my lost innocence and who I used to be. But the innocence all washed away, like the tide washing the sand. And when I need reminding, the child reaches out his hand. My mind is a deep ocean, a dark foreboding sea, and the child, he will drown unless I set him free. There's a child in you too, in the blackness of your mind. And when life gets too serious, then the child you must find. And if you don't believe me, if you think it can't be true, who do you think is doubting? It's the child inside you. Do you laugh when you remember the games you used to play? Release the child inside you. Don't banish him away. Don't send the child back. Don't pretend that you don't care. Or one day, when you need him, you'll find that he's not there. There's a child in each one of us, staring in wonder at the sky. And if you let the child out, you'll stay young and never die. That was a poem I wrote about 30 odd years ago. Anyway, I turned down a side street behind the grim grandeur of the London hospital. I noticed they had tried to tart it up, but that forbidding facade resisted all frivolity. Threading my way instinctively like a hunter through the alleys and back streets, I came unexpectedly to a great block of flats. Either it was wrong or I was wrong, said my memory. I asked 3 passers-by, but they had never heard of the street I was seeking. But a woman in a sweet shop had. Her mother told her there was once a little street where the flats now stood. Perhaps she couldn't remember its name. I'd probably never known it. I did. The name is Winwood Street, Stepney, London, E1. The last war had blown half of it to bits and scattered its inhabitants. Then the planners had come and obliterated the ruins that were left. But for the first 10 or 11 years of my life, it had been home. I had learned about love and life from the women gossiping in the tiny shops and from my grandmother, God rest her soul. I had learned about God. The street had been my school and my entertainment. Its pavement was my seats in the stalls, and its roadway was my theatre. It exists now on a map in my memory. These stories are its makeshift, sketchy memorial. They were born there. That's Blue Heaven. Good night.